This is Ruthie with Breaking the Glass. Thank you for joining us. So we are here today with Krikey for their interview, and we're really excited that they're here. We're gonna wait a couple minutes for everybody to get signed in. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about Breaking the Glass. Computer Futures is a technical recruiting company in the US. We have locations in Austin, San Francisco, DC, and New York City. And Breaking the Glass is a program that Computer Futures senior leadership started about 5 years ago to address gender disparity in tech leadership. My colleague, Elizabeth Lamb, who you're gonna see later, is putting some links in the chat box. So you'll probably see the notification coming up. So click on that and you're gonna see the website for Krikey. So you go there, you can download their app. It's super fun. I used it on Monday. I had so much fun in my apartment trying to find gorillas and feed them, and bird watching inside my apartment and seeing like how the background from the Krikey app blended in with all the plants. It was really cool. So we also have our BTG website on there, and you can go on there and see the recording and be able to share it of this interview after the fact. And also recordings of our past 2 events are on there too. So any virtual events that we record are going to be on there, so you can see them if you can't make the actual live event. Then we also have our LinkedIn page, so feel free to connect with us there and then see what we're doing and what kind of programs that we're producing in the community right now. Of course, all of our programs are virtual. Let's see. So let's take a moment and type in the chat box what city you're from. And if you're from a country outside the US, let us know what country you're from, or what country you're currently in, or what city you're currently in. We just want to know where our attendees are coming from. So right now, if you look at your chat box, you might see that it says you're sending a message to all panelists. If you want to talk to all panelists and all the attendees, you just click the button next to it and select the option to send your chat to all panelists and attendees. As our panel is speaking, please send through any questions that you might have. You can send them through in the chat box or in the Q&A box, and we will try to get to all of them during the Q&A session at the end of the interview. So now I'm going to introduce our interviewer, Justine Camero from Computer Futures San Francisco. Justine is a senior account manager with Computer Futures. She works on the mobile development team, and she's been working with Krikey for about a year. Justine?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'm really excited about today, and it looks like we have people from all over America, which is great. Yeah, like Ruthie said, so I'm a senior consultant and account manager over at Computer Futures, and I've been working with John V and Krikey at Krikey for nearly a year now. So I've been helping with their staff augmentation for their several different teams, and have been able to help them place 7 engineers across their Android, iOS, Unity, Node, and QA teams. And when approached by Breaking the Glass, if I had any clients who'd be interested in doing a webinar feature, they were definitely the first that came to my mind. Krikey's founders, John V and Krikey, are both young women founders in tech, and they've really instilled important core values into Krikey, all of which we'll get into. But yeah, I'm really excited to be here with you both today, and really appreciate you both being here amidst everything going on. So if you could just give a brief intro into Krikey and yourselves, that would be perfect.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ruthie and Justine and Computer Futures, for having us. We're very excited to be a part of this event and share more about our app. So I'm John V. I'm the CEO of Krikey. I did my BA and MBA at Stanford and MFA at the USC Film School. I worked at YouTube for a few years before coming back to the Bay Area to start Krikey with my sister.
Hey, once again, just want to say thank you to Computer Futures, Justine, Ruthie, Elizabeth, and the whole team. We love working with you guys, and we're very excited to be here. And I'm Krikey. I'm the CTO here at Krikey. I got my BA, MA, and PhD at the Stanford Virtual Human Interaction Lab. And here at Krikey, I manage all things engineering, product, and design.
And Krikey is a mobile augmented reality gaming app. So we build everything from start to finish, from texturing the leaves, animating gorillas and birds, game design, and we publish games within our app. Our players can also create gameplay highlight reel videos that they can post to our platform or elsewhere. And you may have seen some of these as you were learning about this event. So I think Ruthie posted a video of a gorilla in her kitchen. And so we're really excited to share more about how we've started the company culture, and how we've adapted to the situation we're in today.
Awesome. Well, thanks to you both for the introductions. Yeah, I'm glad that Elizabeth and Ruthie were able to share the links to Krikey's social media pages and also their app. I strongly recommend downloading it and playing the games, and it's so much fun to do, especially while we're all in quarantine. So yeah, just to jump into everything. So John V and Krikey, as the founders of Krikey, what has your experience been as women in tech, both in the San Francisco tech culture and also in the mobile gaming industry?
Definitely. And before I dive into that question, I'll share a little background on the company founding as well. So we launched in the fall of 2018 in a partnership with Sony Pictures for the film Goosebumps. So they gave us some characters from the film, and we built a series of narrative AR games for them. Last year, we had the opportunity to partner with the Ellen DeGeneres Wildlife Foundation and built an AR gorilla trek experience for Ellen's fans that is still available on the app today to play. We also had the opportunity to partner with Google Maps to start building location-based games. So you can walk around in your neighborhood and at every street corner unlock a different AR experience. And for that, the very first game we launched with Google Maps was Wingspan, which is based off a best-selling board game. And we also partnered with the National Audubon Society, or the Birding Society in the United States, to launch that game. And that is also available in the app, and we'll share a trailer of that a bit later in the session today. In terms of the SF tech culture and gaming culture, it's definitely been interesting navigating that as female founders and finding our path. And there has definitely been ups and downs as we've figured this out together, but we're very fortunate to have each other as sisters and co-founders. One opportunity that I would highlight that has been something that has helped us stay positive through all the ups and downs of startup life is being a part of the Apple Female Entrepreneurship Camp last year. Apple runs this camp for female founders every year. They do about 3 or 4 of them every year, actually, and bring together about 7 to 10 female founders to their campus in Cupertino. And you get the opportunity to sit through tech sessions with their AR teams, their design teams, or whatever tech you're using within Apple. They bring that team to you. And it's really, that experience not only gave us support in redesigning and thinking strategically about our app and a new direction for it, but also a wonderful community of female founders that we've stayed in touch with over the last year. And anytime we face an issue or a question or concern, we are able to reach out to that community and ask how have they dealt with this, and could we adopt some of the strategies they've used. Apart from that, I will also say that a third of our team today comes from Computer Futures. And so having Justine as a partner in navigating recruiting has been a huge and wonderful thing that has happened to us in the last year. And so we're really grateful for Computer Futures as well.
I appreciate that. And it's so great to hear just how your journey has progressed and come. And it's great that you were able to find female mentors and everything in the Apple community and everything like that, but appreciate the kind words as well. So I guess that leads me to my next question. So as business founders developing a work culture, it's important to obviously retaining a happy and productive team. And just from my experience with the people we've placed, that's something that is really commonly said, is how great the culture is and the management and you both as leaders. So what initial steps have you taken to make sure your company culture scales at the same pace as your growth?
That's a great question. And for us, culture has always been really important. We want to work with a team that we enjoy working with and love as family. And so from day one, when we sat down to talk about starting a company, we also talked about creating core values that would grow with the company. And so Krikey has 4 core values: kindness, honesty, trust, and respect. And these are values that we look for in recruiting beyond the technical skill set. And so it's really important whenever we go to a career fair at Berkeley or Stanford or any other university, or we're going out and recruiting on LinkedIn or working with a recruiting company, that we share those values, we express how important they are in the recruiting process. And so it definitely is tough. I think it makes the recruiting process take longer, but it's so important because in the end, you want to be with a team that loves, enjoys, and trusts each other, and expresses that kindness and going above and beyond to support their team members. And that is really important to us as we grow too, because that makes a team more productive. Being happy makes them more productive.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. And then Krikey, so would you mind just giving a brief intro into your PhD research and then kind of going into how that research has helped create and facilitate ideas for Krikey?
Yeah, absolutely. So my research was focused on the more technical applications of virtual and augmented reality. And I'll describe a couple of studies I did and then explain how this has informed what we do today. So my first set of studies was focused on animal behavior in virtual reality. So how can we get people to feel more empathetic towards real life environmental causes through virtual experiences? So for example, if somebody gets to swim in a virtual ocean in the Monterey Bay kelp forest, are they more likely to want to save that ecosystem afterwards? And the answer after just short periods of immersion, so 5 minutes or less in the VR headset just one time, is yes. So people do feel more empathy when they can have these types of experiences up close. And that was really important for us when thinking about building a company. Obviously, augmented reality is a lot more accessible than virtual reality. You don't need a headset necessarily. A lot of AR apps these days are just available on your mobile phone for free. And so we wanted to provide people an opportunity to have personalized nature experiences up close just through their mobile device. And the second component of my research was more about the technical components of how to actually set up and build virtual and augmented reality experiences. And I think at Krikey, this has really helped us with setting up the core tech stack of the entire app. So everything from the mobile side to the gaming side to the live camera experience has also been informed by my work.
Amazing. And yeah, I think it's really interesting how you've used that and implemented it into what you guys are doing at Krikey. And obviously choosing the tech stack that you do want to use and what's going to excite your developers the most. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. So obviously you have a lot of great partners. You mentioned the Ellen DeGeneres Wildlife Foundation, the Audubon Society, Sony Pictures, and more. So I guess I know a lot of people are curious, how are these established and what are some trends you're seeing in games that your partners are asking for?
Yeah, great question. We each partnership comes about in a very different way, and we've been very fortunate to be able to have these partnerships. The most recent one for the game of Wingspan, we actually read an article in the New York Times about the board game almost exactly a year ago in March of 2019, and we were so inspired because the board game was actually created by a female ornithologist or a bird scientist, and she had a passion for board games and for birds, and so she built this game, and it ended up taking off, and the New York Times featured it. It was a bestseller on Amazon. And when we read the article, we were like, wow, this is so incredible. The game looks beautiful. It's a female-founded company and female-created board game. So we actually cold emailed them to express our gratitude for them creating the game and being featured in the New York Times, and they responded. And so when they responded, we said, well, this could be an awesome opportunity to bring this board game into augmented reality, make it a mobile game. So we asked them if that would be of interest, and so they were not really sure what augmented reality was at the time, but they offered to send us a copy of the board game so we could play it and experience it in its original form. So we received the board game and we were playing all weekend, and we really wanted to make this into an AR game. And so we reached back out and worked out a deal with them and ended up releasing the game in September of 2019. Now, before we released the game, we also wanted to bring on a nonprofit partner. And so we were visiting New York for an event, and a friend mentioned the National Audubon Society. We'd never heard of it, and we didn't know it had been around for hundreds of years, but ended up, through our friend, having the opportunity to go to their office and pitch them on the project. They invited me to their National Birding Convention in Milwaukee, and there again, I got to pitch the project, and they agreed to sign on as a sponsor. So each project comes about in very different ways, but often through the connections of friendships and relationships we've had with folks over the years, and in some cases through cold emails. And so I definitely encourage people to reach out, express gratitude or inspiration where they see it, and connect with people, especially in these times. We were very surprised to receive a response to a cold email, but it turned into an absolutely beautiful game. And today holds a great value of bringing nature into our homes, since we can't go out into nature. So we're really grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, that's definitely an amazing story. So I appreciate you sharing, and especially what you guys are saying with just being able to visit nature in your home is obviously so important right now. How has the app changed due to the stay-at-home order in terms of technology and just users and everything like that?
Yeah, actually, before Krikey answers that question, I forgot we were supposed to screen share. So let me do that, and I'll share a little trailer of the game of Wingspan. And then Krikey can talk a bit about the game itself and then how we've adapted it. So maybe as we're playing the trailer, Krikey can talk about some of the camera translation.
Perfect.
Yeah, so our adaptation of the game of Wingspan allows users to walk around and collect birds on the map. When you arrive at a location with a bird, your app will automatically transition to the AR camera, where you get the full experience of AR Core and AR Kit. So for example, camera translation, virtual objects get larger and closer as you approach them as though they were grounded in the real world. With the stay-at-home order, we have made a couple of key changes. So one is that the game is now available to play at home. So if you go to the map now and you click on a pin drop, you'll see, as the video illustrates, a 5-second countdown, and then you automatically get taken to camera as though you're in that location, and you get to play with the bird right away. And this has been great for us. We've seen a lot of people positively respond to this. Obviously, they want to collect birds, and now they can do so without leaving home. We've also introduced a new challenges feature where every day there's a different challenge to collect specific birds on the map, again, using this digital teleport option. And people can win special badges for those challenges as well. We've seen, as I said, a great response to this. And for us, this game is really about people connecting with nature, even during these unprecedented and stressful times. And so we hope that when people come to Krikey and play Wingspan, that's their moment of peace and serenity in their day with nature.
I love it. And thanks for sharing the videos. That's great for everybody to be able to see. Yeah, so I guess with that and everything, by the way, if the viewers have any questions throughout this, I know we've gotten a couple, but there's a Q&A box on the bottom. So if you have any questions, shoot them in there, and then we'll get to that at the end. But great, I know a lot of our viewers right now are in the tech space, either iOS developers, Android engineers, or somewhere else in the web or mobile world. So I think everybody is really curious, just how does your technology work specifically? What technologies do you guys use, and what would you like to use in the future?
Yeah, so the way the Krikey app is built is that we have a unique integration with Unity, the game engine. So we turned Unity into a library for iOS and Android. And what this allows us to do is have Unity and a native mobile app function just in a singular master app. So Unity is written in C#. We have a bridge in C++ that allows it to communicate directly with Java in the case of Android, and then Swift in the case of iOS. And so the games component of the app and the maps component and the camera is managed by Unity. And then we do have a social component of the app with videos, a discovery content page, and your user profile that's all managed by native mobile code. And that's really the underlying foundation of the Krikey app. We do have custom computer vision implementations that we've built on top of Unity's tool AR Foundation as well. There's no mobile and Unity interplay for those features. It's just entirely on the Unity side. And then on the back end, we use Google Cloud for all of our back-end needs. Our endpoints are written in Node.js, and we use the Google Cloud Functions setup to trigger endpoints and client-side interactions. And in terms of technologies we want to use in the future, I think we're excited to finish migrating to Kotlin as part of our native mobile switch on the Android side. That's been a great improvement for us. And then also just continue to build out more interesting camera experiences. I think really the focus at Krikey is to try to develop the outward-facing camera so that people can have very realistic augmented reality games and experiences just from their living room. And that is just purely more computer vision applications.
Perfect. Well, thanks for sharing all of that. And then what would you guys say that your vision is for Krikey in the next 5 years?
We definitely hope to be the destination for augmented reality games and experiences, and are building out a shelf of those experiences. Today we have 2. We're launching another one this summer, and are very excited to continue beyond there, exploring even beyond games. What can we do with experiences, with education, and how can we use this tech stack, wonderful tech stack that we've built to leverage opportunities in different fields.
Great. Well, yeah, I mean, that definitely, I'm so excited to see where the Krikey journey goes. I just absolutely love working with you both, and I think everybody tuning in is going to see what an amazing application Krikey really is. So that's really all of the questions that we had for you guys, but I got a comment in the chat throughout that I'd like to share. So it says, it looks like it's from Ma. And it says, what a great way to proliferate empathy and inclusion. Absolutely outstanding core values. Love them. And then we've got a couple of questions as well. So if you don't mind, we can jump into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course.
Absolutely. I'll let you read out which question you want us to start with, and then we can answer it.
Okay, perfect. So the first is from Rakesh, and he says, I'm a seasoned iOS developer just getting started on ARKit. What advice do you have for seasoned developers diving into new experimental technologies like AR?
Yeah, that's awesome. I think ARKit is a great tool. And my recommendation would be to really try to get into the developer community. I think for us, when we were first starting to build Krikey, and ARKit, that was right before the very first ARKit was launched. It was so helpful to talk to other people who were working on their own experimental projects, go to GitHub and look at some of their work, try to understand how people were implementing some of the newest tools. For example, people occlusion, which is now available in the latest version of ARKit 3, allows you in real time to hide virtual objects behind human silhouettes in the camera. And on its face, that seems like something very challenging to implement, but the great news is there's a lot of people who have already tried it out. And so if you just go to GitHub, there's like, 20 or 30 different repos where people have successfully gotten this working. And just looking through their code, asking them questions, I think that's a great place to start.
That's perfect. Yeah, I mean, those definitely open source code sharing is so key in that. Great, and so this is from Mahathi. They said, saw this video and documentary from Nat Geo Wild about how bonobo apes express empathy and willingly help strangers in distress. To me, this is profound and outstanding, as I've always been researching and looking at ways to teach empathy. Have you thought about AR, VR experience that would bring this bonobo culture into the human world? What are your thoughts on this?
Definitely, with each experience that we've now done a couple conservation-focused experiences. We're always looking at ways for our players to empathize with the animals, but without losing the free agency of the animals. And so going back to your question, actually, you asked earlier, Justine, what is a trend we've seen in the games that we've built? Each partner that we've worked with on the nonprofit side has wanted to really ensure that the animals behave like animals, that they're not pets. Mm-hmm. And even though they're digital, making sure that we retain that sense of wild nature is really important. And even we haven't yet had the opportunity to work on a bonobo specific project, but even for the gorillas, wanting to make sure that they don't come up and try to interact with the humans, because that's not something they would do in the real world in the wild. And same with the birds, they're not necessarily coming right up to you to land on your arm. But as a human player, you can go into their world and experience them just as you would in the wild, but in your living room and without distressing the animal. So we're definitely interested in continuing to explore the relationship of empathy between humans and animals with different species. And with each animal, too, their behavior is different. And so some animals might feel more comfortable coming up to a human versus others. Some are naturally more wild. For each project that we do at a macro level, we're also looking at who would the partner be, what nonprofit might we be able to partner with, or what other organizations are interested in doing an AR experience. For us as a small startup, it's really important to have a community around each project that we do so that we can take it out into a world and know that there's a community of people receptive to that project.
Great. And this one is from Samantha. So it's for other women founders out there, what advice do you have for things like fundraising or gaining funding? Do you think women face different or unique challenges with gaining access to funding in the tech space?
Yes, this is a great question, which we are facing as we speak, trying to raise money. And I think, again, here, it's about going through your network of friends or contacts or your alumni network to connect with folks and being able to get into a room with people that have the ability to fund. Once you're in the room, it's also quite challenging to establish your intellectual authority or presence, and that's something that we've faced too, and people asking if Krikey has a PhD or if she has gaming experience, even though she did work in games at Oculus. And just getting past that hurdle is a tough one, but there's always someone out there in the world that will believe in your project and will want to support and fund what you're doing. And it's just a matter of taking as many meetings as you can to get to that person, staying positive, and not losing hope or belief in yourself.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thanks for sharing that. So this one is from Miles. He says, I love the idea that AR and VR can be used to enhance people's empathy. Other than nature conservation, what other areas do you think AR and VR applications have potential to change people's behavior in a positive way through empathy enhancement?
I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, there's a wide range of applications with empathy and behavior change in immersive technology. A few places where we've seen it be successful with early research is different types of people. So we've done studies where people embody somebody of a different gender, a different race than their own physical gender or race. And we've seen that people do have more empathy and understanding for somebody in that group after an experience in a novel avatar or a different body in the virtual experience. I think also medicine, virtual and augmented reality for medical professionals or for medical treatment can be very helpful. This idea that you can take on someone else's identity in a virtual space is very powerful. We do often take on traits associated with avatars that we play. This has been seen in 2D games like World of Warcraft. It has also been seen in early virtual experiences as well. So I think there's a wide range of applications, but in terms of the consumer space, one is, I think, gaming. So when virtual and augmented reality games give people avatars that they can customize, I think we'll see a potential for empathy and behavior change there. Whether it's used for that is another question. And then also, I think medicine or medical applications would be the other one.
Do you want to talk about the USC, the therapy project for veterans? Because I thought that was a really interesting example of that, of like self-empathy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so USC is currently running a clinical trial with a virtual therapist called Ellie. And Ellie is an avatar who has an advanced AI that allows her to work with war veterans and help bring them away from PTSD and difficult experiences. And the way this works is Ellie does several virtual sessions where she sits down in a virtual therapy room with the war veteran, and she talks to them about what's kind of causing their trauma. And then this is sort of where it diverges from traditional therapy. Once the researchers have enough of a sense of what is causing the PTSD, they can actually recreate the exact scene or the moment of trauma in virtual reality. And the person is able to experience it from a third person perspective. So they can witness an event that happened to them in their life as though they're viewing it like a movie. And Ellie goes with them to the scene of the trauma, and they're able to pause, restart, leave the scene, re-enter the scene at any time. And they have seen some early success with that, which is very interesting because, again, that's all about kind of removing yourself from your own experiences and being able to almost judge them objectively.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that. It's great to see, I mean, what AR, VR, and AI can do just for the future of humanity. So thanks for sharing that. This question is from Sangeeta, and they're asking, what inspired you to start Krikey and use and gaming using nature?
Very good question. Krikey and I always knew that we wanted to work together as sisters, and we had the opportunity once before to work on a film together. So as we were exploring different options, as we neared graduation, we realized that this could be an interesting opportunity. VR is difficult to do as a startup. The costs for a startup are very high. The cost of purchasing a headset for the consumer is quite high. But AR was emerging at that time as another alternative field that looked very promising, where Krikey could transition her technical skills. I could transition my business and entertainment skills. And so we ended up choosing to work in mobile augmented reality. We also wanted to make sure we were building a product that could scale. And most people are starting to have mobile phones around the world, and so there wasn't that hurdle of needing a headset. In terms of conservation and nature, we also really care on a personal level about conservation, and so it was a natural first step to start to build animals. So the very first iteration of Krikey was just AR animals. We had like a lion and a panther, a manta ray, a whale, and as we evolved into gaming and more complex AR experiences, we were able to bring that over by continuing to partner with conservation-focused organizations.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing all of this. Does anybody else in the audience have any other questions? I know we've gone through a few, but if anyone has anything else, feel free to shoot it in the question and answer box now. But John and Krikey, thank you so much for doing this today. Everybody has loved so far hearing your journey and Krikey's journey, and I'm personally so excited to see the next thing is coming from you guys. Every time I see a Krikey app update on my phone, it's something that gets me genuinely excited. So everybody in the audience, I strongly recommend that you download the iOS or Android app. The links are in the chat box a little further up. But yeah, thank you both so much for doing this and for educating us all about AR, VR, Krikey, and how you guys incorporate inclusion and diversity.
Thank you so much, Justine and Computer Futures for hosting us. We're really grateful to your team. We're such a small team, but a third of our people come from Computer Futures. So if you're in the audience listening, I definitely encourage you to work with Computer Futures.
They're awesome.
Are absolutely wonderful, really care about the individual and the experience of both the individual developer and the company. And we're really grateful that we've had such a long and fruitful relationship with your team. And thank you also to everyone for listening in, and we hope you enjoy playing the app and going digital birding at home. You can find us on the App Store or the Play Store by searching Krikey, K-R-I-K-E-Y. And thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much, and thanks for everyone for watching. Yeah, Ruthie, is there anything else?
No, I'll let Elizabeth tell us a little bit and just say our thank yous to you, and I'll say thank you to you. This is truly awesome. It's the first type of event I've done like this, and it was so interesting and so exciting for me to be able to explore the app before we had this interview and get a sense of what it does. It was awesome. I love it so much. All right, I'll let Elizabeth talk now.
Yes, of course. Yes. Thank you again so much for joining us. I wish we could, ask everyone to give you a round of applause. I was smiling throughout the entire interview. It was just so joyful, and it's so amazing to hear the things that you've been accomplishing and the advice you've had to share from, your career so far. So I'm sure just like as your journey progresses, we're going to be excited to follow along and follow birds and gorillas with you as well. But yes, thank you again for joining us. And as always, any attendees who are listening, if you would like to bring Breaking the Glass programming to your organization, all you have to do is get in touch with either Ruthie or I, and we'll explain the whole process of creating a collaborative digital webinar for you. Also, we're doing a remote workers check-in on April 29th, an opportunity for everyone to share about the journey we've been going through the past few months and just provide a resource for us to check in, and it'll be a very high audience participation event. So we're excited for that, so be sure to join in, and yes, just thank you, thank you, thank you. It's just so great. It's a gloomy day here in Austin, and so it's definitely super fun to be able to chime in and listen and smile all afternoon.
Well, agreed. Yeah, thanks everybody, and I'm looking forward to doing this again someday soon.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to check out our workshop that will be next Wednesday, it's April 29th, 1 p.m. CST. You can follow our LinkedIn page to get that link and sign up. We are limiting spaces to keep it a little more intimate. So sign up if you want to, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.